welcome to a new episode of Hallmark Heartbeats, a podcast all about Hallmark movies. I'm your host, Camille. And again, this week I'm not joined by Kayla because it's too late for night. But I am joined by a special guest named David Kaye. You guys have probably seen him in Hallmark movies, but don't know his name. So we're gonna get to know him today. You've been in a lot of Hallmark movies. Actually, three. I remember three just this year in like the past 2 months, right?
5 this year.
Hallmark?
Yeah.
Really? Oh my goodness, we gotta name all 5 then, because I know you were on Eight Gifts. You were on Santa Stakeout.
Mm-hmm.
And The Vows We Keep. So what's the other 2?
The Wedding Veil. It hasn't come out yet.
Oh yeah, that's in January. That comes out in January, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then actually to be okay for this year, but in the last year, 5. I did the other Hallmark one, the other Hanukkah one last year. Love Lights Hanukkah.
Yeah. Love Lights Hanukkah. I loved Love Lights Hanukkah. I cried in that movie. That was like such a good movie. Oh my God. Like seriously. No, I'm not joking with you. I did. This whole storyline of like her, like being adopted, finding her mom, and then like finding her family and how accepting her whole family was of this new sister.
Yeah,
for me, I would have been like, I don't know you. I'd have been more hesitant than the family in that movie. But then again, it's Hallmark, so I don't
know. Right. Yeah, I guess if you think about it, that's like somebody showing up. I guess it's the relative alert on 23andMe or Ancestry.com or wherever you get your DNA test. But
Hallmark has been touching on a lot of DNA storylines recently.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody just wants to know where they're from, I guess.
Yeah. Have you done Ancestry.com kind of stuff?
I've been thinking about it. My very recent ex, she did one with her mom for Mother's Day. So I got to witness it by proxy. Yeah. But I never did it. I don't know. I feel like I know, but also at the same time I might take it and be so wrong, and that would just be like devastating to me because I'm like, oh,
but isn't that the thrill? Isn't that the thrill to like go, oh my God, I am not related to who I think I was related to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can imagine that. It would be like, oh, if I didn't look so remarkably like my father, I would then be like, whoa, it's impossible. It was wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I've never done a DNA test, but my dad has always been curious. For like my mom's side of the family, we know pretty much everybody 5 generations back. Yeah. My dad's side of the family is more a mystery for us. Yeah. So anyway, what was your Love Lights Hanukkah. Love Lights of Hanukkah, like your first Hallmark film?
Yeah, I think so. As an adult, anyway, for sure.
Oh, you did. You acted it as a kid for Hallmark?
As a kid, well, I'm not. I don't think Hallmark. I'm not sure though. Like I've been doing it for a very long time. Yeah. Like I started when I was 4 years old.
Oh wow.
So I'm not really sure all the networks I worked for when I was a kid.
So,
but definitely as a conscious adult human. Yes, Love Lights Hanukkah was my first Hallmark.
How was it working with the cast and stuff?
Super cool. Mia Kirshner is hilarious. I loved working with her.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, and like so wonderfully talented. Like I remember one day she had to do a self-tape for an audition for another show, and she asked me to read with her, and we just spent the whole lunch doing her audition, and it was so funny. I was like, oh my God, like we gotta get this into this movie. She's like, they can't have this there.
No, I mean, and then, what's his name? God, Savage, Ben Savage. That, like, talk about legend. Were you a fan of like Boy Meets World?
Absolutely. And I've kind of talked about this before. You know, growing up as a child actor, you know, I would obviously watch shows, you know, on the weekends or after school or whatever. And I remember I have very, very vivid memories of watching Boy Meets World as a kid and being like, here's a kid who has his own show. Like, this is a thing I can do. This is a career path I can take. And so I tried not to like fangirl when I met him. And I think I held it together pretty well. with him. Yeah, and Mary Lou. Okay, so Mary Lou Henner, who played my mom in that movie, she is one of the most fascinating humans I think I've ever met. Like, I could just sit and listen to her talk for days.
Yes.
She's had so many cool stories, and she's got this thing where I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like a autobiographical memory or something. That can't be right. But basically, if you tell her any date that she was alive for, she remembers what she did on that day, and she can tell you what day of the week it was.
That's eidetic memory.
Maybe.
Eidetic. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so she'd be like, when were you born? And I was like, August 4th. She's like, what year? I'm like, 1988. She's like, that was a Thursday. I remember because, and she just told me about her whole day that day. I was like, wow, that is mental.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I've never met a person I've read and seen TV shows about those type of people, but never actually met a person like that.
Yeah. She's so smart and like talented, obviously, and just like a wonderful human. But it's just like remarkable to see that in action. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. So you're 33.
I am. Good math, good quick math.
So now you've done 8 Gifts of Hanukkah. You worked with Inbar Levi and Jake Epstein. How is it working with them? First of all, I love the movie. I like literally told, I was on my podcast, but I don't know if you heard my podcast, but throughout the whole podcast, I kept saying, Hallmark set too high of a standard for like my next boyfriend. I'm currently single, but I need to stop watching Hallmark movies because now I need a guy who's going to give me personal gifts and remember it's my birthday.
They definitely set the bar really high with that one. I mean, but also, so that was the thing. It was like he wasn't the guy who ended up being the secret admirer. Wasn't any of the guys she thought it was. You know?
I know, that was so frustrating to me. I was sitting there going like,
well, obviously it's the best friend.
Yeah, and the gifts kept getting personal and personal and personal. The more personal it got, I'm sitting there going, why are you thinking that it's your Match.com guy or your patient? Like,
yeah, there's no way.
Unless you told them about what your grandmother's glasses looked like, there's no way they would know. Right.
So like it could have only been the ex-boyfriend or the best friend. There's the only two real options.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, maybe they're like being really sneaky. Maybe they're talking to Keisha, or maybe they're talking to the mom or the brother or something, getting sneaky secret information.
I don't think so.
No, I don't know. I've done some pretty crazy things for love.
What was the craziest thing you've done for love?
I went to Indonesia to try to get a girl.
Oh wow. Like 90 days fiance?
No. I knew her from home. She was on like a round the world trip.
Oh, I was about to go like 90.
I did 90 Day Fiance. It didn't work out.
Hey, you never know. I would not judge you if that's what you did.
You know what? 90 Day Fiance, I heard the premise and I was like, that is garbage. Like, why would anybody watch that? And then I watched it.
I know, right?
I can't stop. It's too much. I love it. I hate that I love it, but I love it. But to get back to your question that I never answered, it was really fun working with Inbar and with Jake. I felt like when I met Jake, I felt like I'd known him forever. It was like an instant, for me anyway. Maybe it's just a one-sided thing, and he's gonna be like, "Yo, David's crazy," but it was just like I felt like I'd known him for a really long time. Like I felt like we were related, or like we were really old friends. And it made working with him on camera really easy because it just felt like we had all this history. Yeah. And he's so cool. I really, really like him. Like if if he's ever back in town, I'll just be like, hey, come on, let's go grab a beer.
I actually told you to kind of call him in and be like, hey Jake, can you come?
He's super busy because he's getting ready to do a one-man show in Toronto.
Wow.
Called Boy Falls from the Sky, I think it's called. I'm gonna be going to I'm going out east to do a hip-hop musical myself in the new year. So I'm gonna try to catch a show. I'm gonna try to book tickets this weekend.
Wow.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing his stuff. He's like such a tremendous performer, and like you only get to see a sliver of it in Hallmark because he's doing the Hallmark thing. But like, I mean, obviously you know him from.
He's really, really talented.
He played Spider-Man on Broadway.
Yeah.
What?
I know him as a musician. I know him as Degrassi. I mean, I know some of Degrassi.
I think he played Spider-Man on Broadway.
Oh yes, I saw him. I saw him post a picture of him doing that on Instagram.
So when I found that out, he was just casually like, he was like, oh yeah, so I was in New York. I was like, where are you in New York? And he's like, oh, Spider-Man. I was like, stop. What do you mean you were doing Spider-Man? He was like, I was Spider-Man. I was like, shut up. No way.
The Broadway musical.
Anyway, yeah, it was. I was like, that's maybe the coolest thing I've ever heard. Cool.
Yeah.
Now what?
He's like, I swear, he's like a hidden gem. I'm surprised nobody has given him like a Oscar or something yet.
I know, right? One day it's coming. I'm sure of it.
But is this the first time that you actually play a dad in a movie? Because
it was. When they said you're gonna be a dad, I thought she was gonna be like 4. She was like 11, and I was like, who saw me and her? And to be fair, we totally look related. Like she looks a lot like my little sister did when she was that age.
Oh,
so like, I totally see the familial resemblance 100%. But like, maybe this is part of the character because I know there's a whole scene about it where the mom and Inbar are like, oh, he's become such a good father. I was so worried when, he lost the wife.
Yeah.
But, now he's stepped up and he's become such a good father. So maybe it's part of the character, but I'm like, who looked at her and looked at me and was like, he could have a 12-year-old.
I honestly thought, nope, that's not his daughter. I didn't even know she was your daughter till like she called you dad.
I know.
Something. I was thinking that she was another sister.
That's what. Okay, so my mom. I was watching this with my parents, because they're like, you have to come over and watch the Hallmark movie. I was like, I'm gonna watch it at home. They're like, no, it's Hanukkah. You have to come over. We'll do Hanukkah. We'll watch the movie. I was like, okay, so we watched the movie. And anyway, she's like, there's a really big age gap between your sisters. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's my daughter. That kid, Alice. Okay, her name's Alice Rose. She's very funny. She's a very funny girl. I hope I get to work with her again in the future. She was wildly entertaining.
Maybe you can play her father again.
Yeah, in like 10 years.
But then she would be like 21 and you're going to be like 43, so it's still the same age gap.
Yeah, but yeah. Okay, maybe in like, I don't know. It's never going to happen. It's never going to work out. Maybe in 10 years, we could play siblings.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. And yeah. Inbar, super cool.
Yeah. Huh?
Inbar.
Yeah.
Super cool.
She's really pretty too.
Stunning. Stunning person. Yeah, but just like honestly, super lovely, super kind, very cool, very talented. Like she was in every scene every day, and just it didn't matter if she was tired, if it was cold or raining or whatever it was. She was always just like she held it down, you know?
Yeah.
And never too very, very humble, lovely woman.
What was your favorite scene to film? I know what my favorite scene was to watch.
Dreidel scene.
Yeah, you guys doing the sports announcing thing.
That was so much fun.
That was the funniest. Was that like any of that ad-libbed or was that all scripted?
Some of it was scripted. Some of it was ad-libbed. I honestly, I don't remember what actually made the final cut, but we did a bunch of different ways. Yeah,
I messaged you saying that if acting doesn't work out, you have a new career choice.
Sports announcing. I think it would be fun to be a sports announcer, but I'd be like one of those sports announcers for like a really obscure sport, like
curling,
like the biathlon, you know, where they like cross country ski and then lay down and like shoot rifles.
Curling.
Curling.
You're Canadian.
Curling would be a great one. Fact about curling is, I'm pretty sure, the only sport where you are allowed in the rule book to have an alcoholic beverage in your hand while you play.
Wow. Did not know that.
I think I should do the curling.
Okay, so back to the movie. Where was I? This was actually the first movie, I think, in my opinion, that was like true Hanukkah movie. We were like the previous iterations for Hallmark anyway, were pretty much a marriage of the two, Christmas and Hanukkah. Even Love Lights and Hanukkah, even though not much less so than the other two.
No, you're totally right. It was, I'm pretty sure, the first one that was just wholly about Hanukkah, that didn't have a Christmas dinner or, you know, somebody like the main character's not learning about it.
Yeah.
It just is the reality for the main characters, which was really, really cool. And, you know, it's been interesting seeing over the last few years this kind of slow progression towards accurate inclusivity. So yeah, you know, a couple of years ago they had one that I didn't actually see it, but it was not received well by like the Jewish community, for example.
No.
They're like,
it wasn't received well by me, who's not Jewish.
Oh, okay, great. Well, not great, but I mean, like, yeah.
Holiday. We mentioned that on the podcast. It was like this guy was hired, who's a Jewish actor, was hired to play like her Christian boyfriend, nicknamed Mr. Christmas or whatever. And like he had to learn all about Christmas and ignore Hanukkah kind of thing to assimilate with this family. I'm sitting there going, yeah.
What I know, or what I can tell you from anyway, at least like the last two, even within the last two movies, like there was a marked difference in research, in accuracy, in representation. And the cool thing about that is it's not just the writer or the director or the producer, because the writer, director, and producer are the same for the last two.
Yeah.
It's in the other departments, in the production design, in the art direction, in the props, in that in those regards, there's just more. I don't know if it's research being done or just the people who are doing it are taking more time, but to research it. But it makes such a huge difference to walk on set and to see that. It like really, it meant so much to walk on set this time and be like, hey, this looks right.
Well, I do have a question. What traditions do you do for Hanukkah? I grew up.
Me personally?
Yeah. And how accurate would you say was Eight Gifts to depict like the I grew up in Baltimore. I told you this. In Baltimore there was there's a large Orthodox Jew population there, especially in my part of Baltimore. And so a lot of what I saw in the movie, I grew up with. So there was a realism in that. Was there anything else that they might have missed or that you do personally for Hanukkah?
I mean, if we're nitpicking, maybe some of the foods that were there are not necessarily accurate, but they were Jewish food. Do you know
brisket?
What I mean?
You guys
brisket? Yeah, sure. I mean, look, everybody loves a brisket. It's not necessarily like a Hanukkah thing, but it's absolutely a Jewish thing. But that said, I had brisket this Hanukkah. My mom made a brisket this Hanukkah. So
yeah,
it's not brisket. It's not accurate, but I mean, like latkes, absolutely. The whole thing with food in Hanukkah is there's these things called sufganiyot, they're the jelly donuts.
Mm.
You have a lot of food that's fried in oil because you're celebrating the miracle of the oil, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that a lot of people don't talk about when they talk about Hanukkah is that Hanukkah is not a major Jewish holiday.
It's Yom Kippur, right?
Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are like, and Passover. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are like the two biggest ones. Yeah. And then Passover is probably like the next big one.
Yeah.
And then there's like several more that are more important than Hanukkah. But the only reason Hanukkah is like so widely known in Western civilization is because of its proximity with Christmas.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just Jewish Christmas. It's not.
No.
At all. But, not even close. But yeah, like things that don't get talked about are, in Hallmark, they always talk about the miracle of the oil, but it's not just the miracle of the oil. Like what Hanukkah is it's a celebration and a commemoration of a revolution against the occupation of Judea by the ancient Greeks. So this is like 200 BC or like 168 BC or something. So it's like a revolution, guerrilla warfare, reclaiming your temple and rededicating it. Hanukkah literally means rededication.
Mm.
And so the miracle of the oil is after the revolution, when they reclaimed the temple, it had been completely desecrated, and there was this the oil that they had for the menorah.
What is the story? What is the story behind the oil?
Well, so when they got back to the temple had been desecrated, and so they went to go relight the menorah, and the it's always supposed to remain lit, but you're right, they only had enough oil for one night or one day, and it took 8 days to make this oil.
Right.
And the miracle is that it lasted for 8
8
days until they could get more and do the thing. But that's,
what was the symbol of the menorah then before the oil, before the miracles of oil?
So the menorah in the temple only had seven candle holders, or like oil pots, I guess. Yeah. Giant. But the reason the Hanukkah has 9 is so there's one for every day, 8 days, and then there's the shamash, which is the helper candle, and that's the one you light first, and then you use that one to light all the other candles.
Yeah.
I
always thought the menorah, sorry, now the names are all confusing in my head. What did you call it? The Hanukkah?
So a menorah is like a candelabra, right? Yeah. So every Hanukkah is a menorah, but not every menorah is a Hanukkah. A Hanukkah is a menorah specifically for Hanukkah with 9 candles.
And a menorah is just any candelabra?
I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely know that the 7 one, like the traditional one that was in the temple, that's also a menorah.
Oh, okay. See, I'm learning and I'm thankful for this. This is awesome.
Great. I'm glad I could be of service.
Oh my goodness. Well, I personally, and also you did the interfaith wedding at the vows we keep too. So
yeah.
I feel like Hallmark is totally embraced finally. Finally recognizing that there are other people in this world that are not white or straight or Christian.
Absolutely. And it's kind of like what I was talking about before, even just the difference between last year and this year. Baby steps. It's going to take a really long time to represent our world as it is, but it's very, very slowly marching forward. It's happening.
How excited are you to be part of that? I mean,
it's cool.
You're the first interfaith. You're part of the first interfaith wedding.
I don't know if we were, but one of them at least.
Yeah.
And in Santa Stakeout as well. In yeah, and
I love that movie. That movie was awesome.
That was fun. That was a very funny, very, very funny movie. Paul is hilarious.
I know. I love him. He's awesome. He's such a great guy. But yeah. How was it working with Paul and Tamara and Joey and the whole cast? That's
very cool.
You were kind of an ensemble.
Yeah. So the whole thing with Santa Stakeout was I don't know about never, but I was rarely working. Actually, I guess I had one-on-one scene with Paul very, very briefly, but usually it's the whole Christmas committee and we're kind of a package deal, right? So it was so much fun working with all those people like Tom and Lisa and Devon and Donalda and Lindsay, the whole group of us. Yeah, we got on like firecrackers. I think it was actually quite disruptive on set because we were just having such a good time. We were laughing and joking all the time. We all, with the exception of Devon because he was off shooting something else, the whole Christmas committee minus Joey got together for dinner. We had a dinner party the other night and we watched Santa Stakeout all together.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
And
you should have taken pictures and posted it.
I didn't post anything, but I think there is a picture circulating of us at the
Oh
table.
my goodness.
I may have looked like this.
Anyway, one last thing. Do you actually play drums?
I do.
So that was you in.
So we shot a version of me actually playing, and we shot a version of me miming, which is very difficult to mime playing drums without actually hitting it, because I had to be doing it in the background, and drums are super loud.
Yes.
It's not an instrument you can just turn off like a guitar, like an electric guitar or a piano or something. So like everyone else is like playing it, but you can't hear it because they're all electric. And I'm sitting there like trying not to hit the thing so I don't ruin the dialogue. And then and the other thing then too is like you have to stay in time with the backing. Like if you're miming it, you have to stay in time with the backing track that they're going to play on the day. So like and then where they start the song for you to play is not necessarily the part of the song that is playing underneath your miming when they show it, because do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to edit it together.
Oh my god. And then also you had to like still act because like you were changing looks with your daughter and stuff.
Trying. It was really hard. I was not impressed with my own drumming. Like if I only had to drum and like if they would have recorded the sound for the whole time, then I would have been very, very comfortable. But the other thing too is like I played drums for quite a while when I was younger, but I sold my drum kit a couple of years ago, and so I haven't played in a while.
Oh, wow.
And so they slotted me in to an actual band that plays like over 100 shows a year. Like these guys are professional musicians, and like they're so good, and they just like had their drummer there, and I could feel like he was very nice to me, but I could tell the whole time he was judging. They were all judging. They were very sweet, but I knew they knew that I wasn't a real musician.
Oh my goodness. That is too funny. Well, what
That
other
was my most sorry?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my most self-conscious day on set was that day. Playing the drums in front of musicians.
I was surprised Jake didn't join the band.
He do. He's way more musical than me.
I know, he could have totally played the guitar, pulled out
right?
the mic and everything and started singing. Shit. Yeah, that would have been fun. But anyway, you got any next projects?
So
I know you said A Vow, which is coming out in January, I think.
The Wedding Veil.
Yeah, The Wedding Veil, sorry.
That one's coming out.
You have a hip hop?
I have a hip hop. Yes, I have a hip hop musical that I'm going to be doing in Montreal and Ottawa, live, on stage.
So you also rap?
I'm a much better rapper than I am a drummer. There's beatboxing. That's one of the things I do. And then I personally, the style of rapping I do is comedic in nature, obviously, because I can't be taken seriously as a rapper. So I actually did a hip hop musical in the past called The Bomedy of Errors. It's a hip hop Shakespeare musical.
Wow.
That was super fun. So we did that in 2012 and 2014. And it was originally written by some guys from NYU as like their thesis project. And then it went and toured the world, blah, blah, blah. Won a bunch of awards. So we did it in Vancouver and Victoria. And it was so much fun. There was like 4 of us. We played 26 characters. And yeah. It was super fun. So I have like funny raps from that show. I'm writing a different hip hop musical about Tilikum the killer whale. It's a whole thing. And then I'm doing the hip hop musical I'm doing in Montreal is not funny at all. It's like very heavy and dark. But Yeah. What kind of rap would you like? Do you want me to do something I wrote? Do you want me to do something somebody else wrote? I'm getting very self-conscious here. I don't know.
Okay. Could you do Hamilton?
I don't know anything from Hamilton. I wish I could, but okay. Here's a secret between you, me, and everybody listening to your podcast. I've never seen Hamilton.
How? It's like the biggest thing in the world.
I know, but here's the thing. I want to see it in person.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it on Disney Plus. I want to see it in person.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get the opportunity soon. So I'm holding out because it's like that thing where, like, wouldn't you rather have your food at the restaurant than, but it doesn't travel well. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's like Chinese food. Like real Chinese food tastes better, like fresh out of the steamer from the kitchen kind of thing, not like delivered.
It keeps cooking. It's like steams itself on its way to you. It's not the same. So yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it live because that's how it should be seen.
Yeah. Well, I live in Hawaii, but we don't get musicals here. Like we might have. I haven't seen one come here recently. I haven't seen Hamilton come here yet. Well, I would love to, but
I would love to as well.
Would you do a Broadway musical like Hamilton? Since you said you because I mean, like a lot of it is rap, right? Or speak. I mean, David did
spoken word.
Alias.
Spoken word.
Yeah. But anyway, so other than the hip hop musical and the wedding band, I'm excited for you though.
Thank you. Other than those, I'm doing some voiceovers on a couple of kids' cartoons, and I'm writing some scripts. That's kind of what I'm doing right now.
I can't wait to see you some more in Hallmark movies. I'm sure that there will be more for you.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me on. This was so much fun.